Morning. Off to see the Guardians?
Yeah.
Think it'll be a good game?
Didn't we do this yesterday?
I don't know what you mean.
Don't mess with me, pork chop! What day is it?
It's April 25th.
We did do this yesterday. Why are we doing this again?
Because we are gluttons for pain.
How could 2 days in a row look this way against the Colorado Rockies? I must have had some bad juju. I tweeted, I don't know what kind of things early in the year about how the Rockies. How many times we said in the show the Rockies are the goofiest franchise and they have Nolan Jones at AAA. This is clearly our fault, obviously.
Yes, this is some kind of karma for ripping this team to shreds. Even my old co-host is hopping in to say we've earned this one. But we'll get into this, and we're pretty sure we know who's pitching tomorrow. So tune in for that conversation, as well as us trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this team.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Unconventional opening for an unconventional day. Hey, the Colorado Rockies have won their first series of the year. That might leave the White Sox and the A's as the only two teams who haven't won a series. And when you lose 7 of 9, your last 6 series in a row, and 3 series is teams projected to pick in the top 10, you know it's been a crap month. That's Justin. I am Jeff. We will have some positive talk, I swear, on today's episode of Locked On Guardians. I thank you for making it your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. I also want to remind you to follow us throughout the week. And, we are going to have you covered for the good and the bad, even though it's mostly been horrible.
This is the 6th series loss in a row. They beat Washington. That's 1, 2. This is the 3rd straight series loss. They beat the Nationals.
But then, so they've lost 5 of 6, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, they lost the Yankee series and the Mariners series. They haven't won a series. Before the Washington series, they didn't win a series going back to the Oakland series. So they beat Seattle, Oakland, Washington, and that's been it this month. So 3 series.
While facing the weak part of the schedule. Quick time for a lesson here. I want everyone who's listening, if you're watching, and just take your arm and kind of wave it through the air. Like, just put it through nice and easy, right? Like that. You can feel your arm moving easily through the air. Now take your arm, put it on top of your other arm, and try doing it. See how that isn't as easy? See how you have friction? See how that slows you down? That's why you don't slide into first base. I'm not going to do my full-on rant like a year ago, but why has no one sat down with Andres Jimenez and showed him this is a dumb move? Yes, the pitcher is coming over, and in this case, there was a slight chance he was trying to avoid a tag, but if he runs all the way through, that might have been their best scoring opportunity because he's at first. Zanino's double. I don't know if it necessarily scores him from first, but then you have second and third. Maybe the lineup is still punchless, but stop sliding into first base. It's basic science. And it wouldn't make me so mad if it wasn't literally the only guy who does it, Jimenez. And it feels like this team has learned nothing from a year ago. We'll get into some things later. It's definitely, I'm having some frustrations with some dudes. But this was a game full of frustrations as the Guardians faced Walsh product Ryan Feltner, who has struggled with command for his entire career, dating back to Ohio State, where he was a reliever and not a starter because of his command issues, could throw hard, and they made him look like the most efficient pitcher in baseball. Not a single walk against a guy who I believe's career walk rate might be over 5. I got to pull that up and look. But it's ridiculous. Like right there, swinging at everything. Let's see. His walks per 9 is 4.0 in the big leagues. 6.6 leading into the game today.
And they didn't walk once. I just want to tack on to your sliding thing. Don't slide into first base. Don't slide into DM. Sliding just gets you into trouble. Either which way. Stop sliding into things that are going to get you into trouble. Yes, no patience with this team. 0 walks today. And first inning, 8 pitches. Second inning, 17 pitches. Third inning, 12. Okay, so the second inning was fine. 12 pitches, 13 pitches. 6, 7, 8. Sixth inning, 12 pitches. 7th inning 10, 8th inning 9. They did not work counts, and Tito said after the game, we are swinging at everything. We are trying to hit fastballs. We're trying to hit breaking stuff. There's just really not a good plan at the plate right now. And very quickly, I don't want to acknowledge low-hanging fruit and a bunch of low-hanging fruit and just a bunch of stuff that shouldn't be acknowledged, but stop talking about firing the hitting coach, please. I know this is bad, but let's sit down here for a second, take a breath, and stop acting like this is the Browns and the defense just gave up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The Jets and blew a terrible game against a terrible team. They did blow terrible games to terrible teams, but it's what the equivalent of the third quarter of week 1. Is that what you said?
We're now into the beginning of the fourth quarter of week 2. Fourth quarter, week 2.
Yeah, let's calm down on firing anybody or saying any of those things. But the approach tonight, or the approach Tuesday night against Ryan Feltner was awful. They were not patient. They didn't have good at bats, and I don't know how many times I have said this, and this is why when I write up evaluations for prospects and I look at the, everyone says the quote unquote hit tool, the ability to hit, you can't just say and this is not a disrespect to Ernie Clement. I like Ernie Clement, good dude, nice utility player. But I know in the past, some people have said he has a 60 or a 70 hit tool. It's not just the ability to make contact. Josh Naylor, I know he had the double late in the game, but Josh Naylor rolled over to second base 3 times tonight. There are approximately 600 people in playing Major League Baseball right now, or minor league baseball, that can hit an 80-mile-an-hour ground ball to second base, okay? You and I can't do that, but there are 600 dudes that can't. The ability to put the ball in play isn't the same thing as being a good hitter. A lot of guys can put the ball in play, right?
Yeah,
to be a good hitter, you have to be able to actually impact the baseball. And this is why we said last year, leading the league in contact rate is great. Not striking out, that's great. But if you're punchlessly rolling over to second base 9 times a game, that's not going to help anybody. Once again, they are third last in the league in strikeout rate. But if you look at batted ball data, if I could find it, that'd be great. I'll find it at some point and let you know. You can go on. They're not hitting the ball hard. No, they're not hitting the ball hard.
While he's pulling that up, just to dovetail in here, 2 things. One, it's been my big complaint for years as a draft person. We always talk about the Bradley Zimmer and Tyler Naquin were both called the best hitters in their draft class. Best hit, 60 great hitters. It's not the case. Hit tool is really hard to judge, and we've judged it poorly. There is, at the beginning of my career, hit tool was literally how pretty a swing was. That was literally a lot of scouts who just, it's a pretty swing, 60 grade. It's no, stop. Stop. That's what I tell my 18-month-old. It's the same thing with these scouts. Hit tool has been poorly judged for a long time. And as we get more data, we'll get more information. The other thing is, listen, the Guardians' approach to building a lineup is something that I kind of loathe. And it's not to say that I loathe their approach. I understand their approach. But it's the same reason that I was always lower on Francisco Mejia in the crowd. It's the same reason I'm lower on Tyler Freeman in the crowd. It's the same reason after his great rookie year, I told everyone to pump the brakes on Oscar Mercado. It's a similar profile. When you are primarily a contact-only hitter, and you don't have that secondary trait, sometimes you get unlucky. Sometimes you face really good pitching. Sometimes you get into these stretches where nothing breaks right, and sometimes you get a stretch where everything breaks right. And right now they're in a period where nothing is breaking right. Josh Naylor has issues, but he's also got a 170 BABIP, so he's clearly unlucky too. But when you build a lineup with guys who are slap hitters and there isn't a secondary trait, you're setting yourself up for stretches like this.
And they're all going through it at once.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's comment coming into the year too is oh, you have to worry about regression or whatever. Is it early or is this regression? And it's still early, so you can't sit there and say, well, these guys have clearly regressed because, again, it is April 25th, April 26th. You can't say this guy has regressed or not on April 26th, but you can look at it and say these are similar trends. When they were not doing well a year ago, these are similar trends. And this is what happens, like you said, when you put the same subset of skills together offensively and you're banking. Not only are you putting a similar subset of skills together, you are also doing it with guys who are first or second year players, or guys who are starting full time for like maybe this is what Josh Naylor's second full season if you discount the year he broke his leg.
Well, I mean, he had 3 seasons before that because he could not maintain a spot because he couldn't hit regularly enough. I mean, one could make a case that if in that year he broke his leg, he didn't break his leg, and he had a 90 runs created plus at the end of the year, he may not even be with this organization anymore.
Yeah,
like he was the 4th or 5th piece of that trade. He was kind of a guy, and you look at the data, it's like this year is clearly too low, but was last year's a bit of a fluke? Like, you look through his career, and it's like that's the outlier right now. This year as well, but we'll have to see where it gets to. It's a little concerning for me with him, just because it's been so bad. But again, BABIP shows there should be some more room, but he's not hitting for any power. Like, I mean, I know people say he hit the double tonight, but like, does it really feel to you like he is squaring up like he did a year ago? I should go look at his batted ball data and see, but it does not feel like it to me.
I mean, if you look at xwOBA, and people who are going to wonder what xwOBA is, xwOBA is expected weighted on base average, and weighted on base average is basically it weights every outcome of a plate appearance. So a home run is worth the most points, a triple is worth a little bit less, a double is worth a little bit less, single is worth a little bit less, walk is worth something. It weights the strength of what you did on that plate appearance. So expected weighted on base average is 348, which would be the highest of his career. So it would seem that he is definitely getting unlucky, and the strikeout rate's good, the walk rate's good, chase rate not so good, which
it's always been poor.
But everything else with that sprint speed on Savant looks good.
Yeah. Well, his average exit velocity is down. That's the only other thing that touches below.
It's not terrible.
A 42. I mean, he's below league average, and his hard hit percentage is down. So yeah, his hard hit percentage is down 20 percentile points, and his average exit velocity. So he's definitely hitting. Getting back to my original point, he's not hitting the ball as hard. He's barreling and he's getting good outcomes, but he's not hitting it as, instead of, maybe what would have been based on that data, a home run a year ago is a double. And, doubles are the one thing this team is top 10 in baseball in.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, you still have a lot of guys that you're counting on that are first or second year players, or in some case, third year players. So, you do have to worry about this a little bit. Will Brennan and Kuhn, who, for what you said there, said early on, people wanted to rip you for, but it hasn't been it's not fantastic to anybody. There's really nobody to single out. Nobody has been good.
I tweeted about today. It's like, for as much as I took a lot of guff for it, Joey Gallo's got half as many home runs as the Guardians and would be their number one hitter right now. Sometimes you have to look a little outside the box, and Zunino is arguably, he doesn't have enough plate appearances, but is their number one hitter, and he is the guy who's outside the box for them. But I know we got to get into break one. We still have things to talk about in this game, and we have good news. So we're going to focus on, I don't know if we'll count it as breaking news or not, but Justin, take it away.
All right, you may not want to put any Guardians on your list again tomorrow for one of our newer sponsors, So Rare, revolutionary fantasy baseball marketplace, transforming fans into owners with officially licensed digital cards featuring players from all 30 MLB teams. These games happen once or twice weekly in a span of 3 or 4 days. At the end of the game week, So Rare MLB managers who rank near or at the top of their leaderboards win a variety of rewards that can include scarcity cards, game tickets, merch, signed jerseys, and VIP experience, like meeting MLB stars such as Juan Soto and Julio Rodriguez, who are partnered with So Rare. Prizes may vary depending on the competition, so head to sorare.com/lockdown, that is SORARE.com, to draft your team of free player cards, set your lineup, and start competing today to win epic rewards. Again, that's sorare.com/lockdown to start playing today. Hit up our buddy at Alex Super on Twitter to ask him about your lineups, and he'll get you set up with a good lineup and some guys to look at and all that good stuff. Maybe you can earn the Guardians' top prospect when he comes up. Who knows? No money line tomorrow on our next sponsor either. That is our good friends over At FanDuel, not surprised there is not a money line because we technically don't know who the starting pitcher is, so we think we know. Grand slams, no hitters, double plays are back. There is no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. So you can pick up Aaron Judge and see if he hits a home run. See if a pitcher will go over on strikeouts like the Guardians pitcher on Wednesday when they make the announcement. Don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, before we get to Wednesday's pitcher, I wanted to talk about Peyton Banfield real quick. Not his best day. I don't think I'm too concerned, though. I mean, it was cold, and I know it was cold for Ryan Feltner, too. Threw a lot of fastballs. It wasn't as devastating with the cutter. Although somebody said that, did you tell me this or somebody else said this, that the ball that Banfield is throwing is a slider and not a cut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually in our comments. I should
someone said
I think
that,
it might have been Alton. I think it might have been Alton in our comments, one of our everydayers. Alton, I believe. I'm covering my mouth as I talk. What's the worst habit I can do as a podcaster? Hey guys, I'm here to talk about. No,
Guardians can have bad habits. Why can't you?
So yeah, that he's saying it's not a cutter, but it's being picked up by Savant is a cutter. It's actually a slider. It's listen. You and I both kind of thought we were playing a little bit with house money. We were excited he was playing so well, and he's helped elevate his profile. But he's probably a reliever masquerading as a starter. Wasn't his best day.
Mix, yeah.
Yeah, eventually, and especially the more teams get to see him against Major League. Yes, I mean everyone's got tape anymore. It's not like the more tape. It's like no, they got 3 years of tape of him in the minors. There's tape. Everyone knows the book on him. That's not a thing anymore. But there is seeing how he responds to the Major League side of it, and like I said, he's probably a reliever, but he got the job done for a time. He's holding down a spot until they get healthy. But yeah, this was not his best day against a kind of a weak offense that is making the Guardians look very poor.
Yeah, I'm
Mike
not concerned.
Moustakas is playing every day.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I tweeted, I said when they didn't have Nolan Jones up, he had 6 home runs in PCL, and I'm like, why are they playing Mike Moustakas and all these guys over Nolan Jones? I'm so sorry, Rockies fans. I meant I'm so sorry, Guardians fans, because clearly the Rockies are a superior elite franchise, and I just didn't know what I was talking about. Some of my comments said, no, you overrated the Guardians. No, I don't think I overrated the Guardians. I think I underrated the Rockies. No, I'm kidding. Nobody underrated the Rockies. Maybe the Guardians did. I don't know. Banfield should continue to start, though. There's no reason. Although, I mean, it's going to be interesting. So if Banfield does start, I don't know what's going to happen. He has earned a Major League spot. Let's get into that. Before we get into that, Jeff, no 3 stars. You're not allowed to do 3 stars for the second day in a row. No stars until they win, okay? No stars. 0 out of 5. Would not recommend.
99 in Pilkington. 99 in Pilkington.
No. 0 out of 5.
And Zanino.
No stars. So, we don't know who Wednesday's pitcher is yet.
It's Tanner Bibee. Let's just bury the lead. It's Tanner Bibee.
Let's get excited. Let's have a round of applause for our friend of the show, Tanner Bibee, making his Major League debut. When this comes out tomorrow and it's not him, we can look like idiots. But I think we're pretty sure. I mean, he's in Cleveland.
He's in Cleveland.
He is in Cleveland. I can't see it not being Tanner Bibee. I think the reason that they have to hold this back as a 40-man move. Yeah, as of 10:30 on Tuesday night is because there's a 40-man move involved. And I think if you look at the roster as of right now, you can only have 13 pitchers on the roster. So they have to make a move for pitcher. And I assume that's just going to be Connor. Here's my guess. My guess is Valoria is DFA to create a 40-man spot for Bibee. And Pilkington goes back to AAA because he can't pitch now tomorrow, because they have to keep the roster at 13 pitchers. So he can't pitch tomorrow, and they have to send a pitcher down. He makes the most sense. So Bibee for Pilkington and Valoria DF. I think Valoria has 3 plate appearances or something. Like he's not. This whole 3-catcher thing makes absolutely zero sense to me. So
it could work. I was talking about this before in the show. It's like, what
it could have. They didn't. Yeah,
they're not using it correctly. It's like, let Zunino DH against lefties. Let Naylor, who's struggling against everyone, not face the type of pitcher that torments him the most. I know he was good against Luzardo, but he is not good against lefties. DH, you have 2 catchers, like use it. They're just not. Instead, it's just a warm body sitting there collecting. It's great for those guys that you make more money in the majors, so it's great for Valora. He's making more money than he probably expected to.
This is why we said over the offseason there is one spot left on the bench for a hitter, and they didn't get one, and maybe they still can. I don't know how maybe it could be Naylor. I don't know how they're going to work that out. It has to work somehow.
Maybe they try Palacios unless he's finally Richie is finally gone with it. Not finally. I don't want it. I think Richie could hit at the big league level. I don't think he has a position. I think that's what's holding him back. But I hope he goes somewhere and gets an opportunity. Yeah. I hope Alex calls us.
But let's get excited about Tanner Bibee. I mean, this is going to be fun.
Yes,
this is going to be a lot of fun.
There's enough smoke around this. We know he's there, and there's been a few tweets from related things I know you've seen throughout the day. But it's like we know he's there, and he lines up.
Pilkey to pitch Tuesday night. I don't understand if it's not Bibee. I have no idea what they're doing because they can't call Gaddis up.
No, it's like it's Plesac on short rest. I think was what I heard someone in the
Yeah,
but
they're not gonna. No. I thought they were gonna twist themselves into a pretzel as much as they could, but they can't. So
if this game had gotten rained out, I don't think it was gonna happen. And like I talked about in yesterday's show, I think there was a small chance of a world where someone like Tuki Toussaint or Daniel Norris is I had someone be like, why would they do that? It's like because it's roster fodder and they can cut them and it doesn't matter. The downside to adding Tanner Bibee, there is a downside, and if you're not listening or if you're not watching, I'm doing air quotes. The downside is when you add a Tanner Bibee, he's on this 40-man forever. So this 40-man squeeze gets squeezier.
You are starting the free agent clock, and it shouldn't matter for Bibee. He is 24. Who cares about his age 32 year? You got to get the best out of him right now, and he's ready. You are starting the Super 2, and I think this is the thing. I don't know what they're going to do, but
I think they never do this, but I think they're going to do what they never do, and I think he ends up a spot start. I think I don't think you don't think they're going to keep him up. I think it's going to be a spot start. I honestly do. I think they just don't have another. I think it's going to be like when they put Carlos Vargas on the 60-day DL last year, which is something they never do with prospects. Sometimes,
I think they were out of options for that. They were out of options.
It was either that or cut someone. Like they decided it was better to let him burn a year. I think with Bibee, I think it could be a spot start, and then they just, they'll have the full rotation, hopefully without issue, especially because you're going to get, who knows what's going on with Savale. There's been 0 updates, as I recall. I mean, the thought is he'll be back in May, and you got McKenzie at the end of May, but it's like, this team has not bumped their starters in forever, and it just, I don't know if they're going to do it, unless he is going to stay, and this was Peyton's last start. Thank you for being here, and he moves to a pen roll. That's the only way.
That could work out great. Yeah,
that's what I think.
I think that Logan Allen shoved on Sunday. Tanner Bibee is going to shove on Wednesday, and you can't send them back. This pitching staff, the offense is starving. The pitching staff was starving first. The offense, I don't know. It might get back together at some point. It's hard to say when the offense will get it going again because there's a lot of factors at play. But the pitching was starving first. Bibee goes out and shoves. How do you send him back to AAA? Battenfield in the bullpen is fine. Logan Allen shoved. He's got to stay. This is the next wave. Like they said.
Well, like I said.
I think if he pitches well, he's here to stay.
No, I think how can he go back down? Exactly what you said. Super 2 status. Like that is a thing. They've always manipulated those statuses. That has been a thing. The only guy who hit Super 2 is 99, and that's because of injuries and then him with his regression. They avoid Super 2 like a death sentence. So if he pitches well, they can also, hey, it's the Rockies. Congratulations on your start. Go back to AAA until we're safely past to Super 2 status. I would not put it past them. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think that's how it's going to go. I think Tanner Bibee is, you and I have both said, he is their top prospect. Yeah. He is going to go out there. I absolutely believe he's going to go out there and shove. Not just because we had him on the show. We really think he's a great guy, but this guy's good. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to do a full scouting report here, but everything to me, I wrote him up for my prospect list, and I am so far behind my prospect list.
I am as well. Eventually, I'll continue doing mine.
But I'm gonna put the report on him tomorrow when he starts pitching, and I think he is the next Guardians ace. I really do. I think he is the future ace of this rotation.
Like I said, if everyone was healthy, he'd be my number 2. I'll be honest with that because Espino, I think, could have been something special. I think Gavin Williams could be great, but I think he's still an ace. I think, like, I tweeted out today, it's like tomorrow the Guardians' number 1 prospect is going to pitch, and I got a lot of Weisenheimers being like, Daniel Espino's hurt. Like, he's not the number 1 guy. Like, his health injury alone means that he's not there. People like Gavin Williams is getting the jump. I'm like, you guys need to pay attention more to the minors. But here's the other thing. Do you know why 100% he's going to start tomorrow, Justin? Can I give you some inside baseball why 100% he's going to start?
Yes, let's take it to the bank. Let's take it to Vegas.
This is 100% why he's going to start. Because tomorrow we got a gall darn flipping field trip to Brewer Stadium for weather day that I have to go on. So when he is pitching, I'm going to be sitting there watching a Brewers game. Normally it'd be great. But of course, he has to. It's not your honeymoon. It's me being at the Brewers game for the second time ever.
I won't be in Jamaica. I was so afraid I was going to fly from Jamaica to San Diego for his debut. Now I don't. I'm
going to be sitting. I don't know. I'm going to take my AirBuds. I'm going to be sitting there like. But at the same time, like, I think everyone knows I'm a special education teacher. I can't also like zone out. Like, I can't do that, or my students might leave.
Jeff, is that a cough? Are you sick? Oh, Jeff, I'm so sorry. You can't be at school today.
I gotta skip tomorrow. No,
call in sick today if you are listening to this.
Sense of responsibility. Unfortunately, I have a sense of responsibility that won't happen. My students are counting on me, and I can't do that to them. But this will happen because I got to go to this stupid Brewers game tomorrow for weather day.
Don't be like Jeff. If you are listening to this and it's not 1:00 yet, call in sick. Go to the ballpark. Go watch Tanner Bibee's debut.
I mean, this is the guarantee, right? Like, this is 100%. It's got to happen now because instead of you, it's me. Like, this is because why me instead of you? Like, because I was the first one to put him as the number 1 rated prospect in this system. So of course I'm the one who has a. I know people get mad about me doing my victory laps and all, but it's like I did put him there first, so of course now I'm the one who can't watch this game. I'll listen. I'm gonna have KRO on listening to Corrigan for this debut, but I can't.
Teachers don't take enough sick days. Just saying. I don't think teachers don't take enough sick days.
I got a doctor's appointment on Friday, so I will take one then, and that'll be my second one all year. I'll be at 2.
I think you should move that doctor's appointment to Wednesday.
So, I wish I had. I wish I'd known. But yeah, that to me that is the thing, the nail in the coffin of why this is going to happen. But get excited. He is really good. He is the best pitching. Here's a question for you. We didn't prepare this one, and we're already going long. But hey, forget it. We're going to go long. We're going to have fun. This is a special moment because you and I have been kind of driving this bus. But he is the best pitching prospect since.
Shane Bieber? I mean, Shane Bieber didn't get this much hype. He didn't have enough time to have this much
he didn't
hype.
have the time. Clevenger didn't get this hype because he had command problems basically until he got called up. He was was not a Kluber was not a hype guy. It's like
no. Danny Salazar?
Maybe Salazar. If we go back to their time before Cleveland, it's Carlos Carrasco. I mean, he was hugely hyped in Philadelphia before his struggles when he got in Philly and then here. But yeah, it's probably, I was thinking Salazar or like, I was trying to go back and like, is it like, do we have to go back? Like how far? Because is it Adam Miller? Like,
don't say that. No, don't.
No, Espino is already the Adam Miller comp at this point in time. Don't worry, we've already done that. But like, I mean, no matter what you want to say, Adam Miller was, and Adam Miller was just a weird situation because I mean, I've never heard of anyone else finger blisters being the reason for their major league career never happening. But it's like, yeah, like Adam Miller is the guy. But Tanner Bibee is not him. It's quite a great story. Thank you. People get mad at me for this one, but thank you, Chicago Cubs, for twice not drafting him. Go back and listen to our show where he told us that like he thought the Cubs were going to take him in back-to-back years, and they didn't. I know people get mad at me like, I can never forgive the World Series. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I compartmentalize things better. But yeah, he's the real deal. And when you got him and you got Logan Allen and, Gavin Williams, I assume we'll get the bump up to AAA because I believe you're starting on Wednesday in AAA, Justin, because they have no pitchers left. It's you and Jaime Arias. It's you and World Baseball Classic, maybe team member for half a second, Jaime Arias with Mexico.
Yeah, Team Mexico.
But like that's all. And Adam Scott. That's where we are.
After Adam Scott, probably would be just as good. Actually, I should call him.
yeah, no, and like I said, we still got Cantillo. We hopefully will see more with him. Williams. Hopefully Espino gets healthy. It's going to be a fun time with this pitching. Ultimate Baseball GM. Listen, if you want to have a team that wins, play Ultimate Baseball GM. Right? That's what's going to fix things for you right now. If you want a team that's not going to get beat by the Colorado Rockies, so in one of my franchise runs, I think the first one I did of the 3 I've done for our league, the Rockies were the single most dominant team for about a 10-year stretch. So it's been interesting. The teams that randomly dominate through that, it was the Orioles, the Rockies. What's it, the Nationals? Some fun times. I love playing the game. It is a fun game. It is a quick turn and burn simulation game. You want to draft? You want to sign free agents? Don't sign free agents. Don't waste your money. Signing bonuses will ruin you. Build up your infrastructure. That's the trick. Locked On Guardians listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise and use the code Locked On. I use that in the game to help be first and second in the rankings. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up in the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today.
All right, we are going long, but that's okay because this, like you said, it's a special day. Let's. I'm debating whether or not this was an intentional move, but
I think it was.
We saw Karinchak come in the 5-1 game, the deficit at that point.
The 6-1 victory was his last. He came in at a 6-1 when they were up, and now he's coming in at a 5-1. This was 100% on purpose. His last 2 times he's come in. Yeah, I mean, a 6-1 and a 5-1, that's a pattern.
Yeah. That's interesting. I will say he looked good.
This was actually one of his better performances.
Better outings. I was watching very intently because I was trying to explain to my stepdad the nuance of the pitch clock. I noticed the first 2 batters that he faced, he asked for a new baseball 3 times. Which is the max, right? I don't know what it is. Well, he did 2 the first batter, and then he asked for 1 the second batter. So that's 3 in the first 2 batters. And I was explaining to my stepdad why the clock keeps resetting, why he's doing this, and I'm like, he is just trying to buy more time. And I'm like, if the umpires notice it, they will flag him for it. He will get in trouble. But yeah, he asked for a new ball 3 different times the first 2 batters he faced, and that resets the clock. And I was like, I'm just waiting for an umpire to catch him doing that because Enyel De Los Santos got a pitch clock violation in this game. So he now has 3. I tweeted this earlier today because Travis Sawchik of The Score tweeted that pitch clock violations, by and large, have been almost non-existent. That the rate of them happening is so low that it's never to be expected. It's been a non-factor or just hasn't happened as much. But ironically enough, or maybe not shocking to anybody who listens to the show, the Guardians lead the league in pitch clock violations because Karinchak has 3, Clase has 3, and now De Los Santos has 3. And they were both, Clase and Karinchak were tied with 3 with Camilo Duvall, who's the Eric Lauer, and Dean Kramer of the Orioles. And I'm like, okay, so 2 of these guys are starters and they have 3 pitch clock violations. The rest are relievers. I think that's an interesting dichotomy there, but not a surprise this team leads the league in pitch clock violations. And,
he's got to do, and they talked about that ball change. I believe we talked about it where like they said they would, like you said, they're going to monitor it. He's going to get flagged and they're not going to let him do it, but he's clearly trying to get some extra time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's affecting Clase, and De Los Santos obviously takes a while too because now he has 3. So the Rockies have switched starters on Wednesday too. So Tanner Bibee will make his debut against German Marquez instead of Noah Davis. Davis has been off to a good start this year, but German Marquez has not been off. Oh yes, he has been off to a good start. The Savant check marks don't look great, but
no
4.41 ERA, but his WHIP is below 1, and the strikeout rate is okay, and the walk rate is great. So great, he doesn't walk anybody. That does not bode well for a team that's not patient right now.
Yeah, but he is so inconsistent. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like you would look like Sandy Koufax against them right now. It's not been great. I mean, it's 16 innings, so we'll see. He's just not been the same guy since he signed that contract. But hitters
have a .696 slugging percentage against his fastball. Cleveland should be hunting fastballs. Forget whatever junk he throws. He throws the fastball 35% of the time. Hitters are crushing it this year. Sit dead red and then figure everything else out. I don't know. That's my suggestion as an amateur hitting coach. I don't want to replace Chris Valleca. I don't want anybody to replace Chris Valleca, but that's my amateur analysis for the day. You got some numbers that are fun or not so fun, Jeff?
So, I talked about their 8th in the majors and doubles. What's weird is when you look at this team right now is the fact that of the top 100 hitters in baseball in terms of, OPS, the only guy ranked for Cleveland, and Zunino doesn't qualify, there's that, is Jose Ramirez, and he's 70th. Number 9 is Sean Murphy. Number 15 is Yandy Diaz. So some familiar names, and it's just – and for a team that didn't strike out, they're still like bottom 6 in strikeouts, but they're not there were a lot of teams striking out a lot less than them. There's a lot more free swinging, which, that was the thing last year. It's like they ran away with that title of being one of the hardest teams to strike out. And yes, Zunino strikes out, but Josh Bell is not a strikeout guy, has as many strikeouts as him. Ahmed Rosario has 1 less than those 2 guys. Gabby Arias is at 18. Jimenez is at 18, though he's more of a free swinger. There's a lot of guys swinging missing. And right now, the problem with this team is you talk about like the hitters. What's killing them is the second year. Maybe I watched too much Columbus Blue Jackets and saw too much of Cole Sillinger's like a sophomore slump, and that's all in my head. But it's like Josh Naylor. We talked about it. He was not good in San Diego, and then he was great last year, and then it just looks like he didn't put in as much time in the offseason. Like I can't put exactly together, but he's just not swinging quite as hard. Everything's there, but the hard hit is not there. Maybe we'll talk about, hey, it gets warmer, it'll come together. Stephen Kwan is not quite doing it. And, as someone who talked about waking up late and playing video games all off season, it's not a great look to make that statement and then come back. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I mean, I do that in the summer, but like, it always feels like baseball players, if you're not progressing, you're falling behind. And there's a little bit right now where it feels like some of the sophomore seasons for guys. Jimenez, after the big contract, I mean, he was great at the start, not so much right now. Miles Straw has done Miles Straw of a year ago, come out hot as he can, and then turn back into a below average bat. And we'll see if Ahmed turns it around like a year ago. So, that's the one thing when I look at with him. But right now, statistically, you have Jose Ramirez and Josh Bell, and then a whole lot of dross. There's not a lot of value in this team offensively. Zunino, when he plays, is providing something, but 3 hitters does not carry a team. And right now, this offense is looking a lot closer to 2021 than it is 2022.
It sure is. Hey, at least the White Sox lost again. They are an absolute disaster. They lost 7-0 in Toronto. I believe they're 7-18 now, or is it 7-17? They are. This doesn't say what their record is. It's bad. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's worse than the Guardians somehow. But you know who did win tonight on Tuesday night? The Twins won their first series against the Yankees since 2001. That's a long drought. It's a very long drought. So the Twins are winning series. By the way, Mike Clevenger pitched for the White Sox tonight. Didn't go great. 5 innings, 6 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. It's bad over there. Jose Barrios, who, by the way, was a disaster a year ago and has been kind of bad this year to start, 7 shutout innings against that White Sox offense.
Yeah, that looks like a bummer of a trade for the Blue Jays. Yeah, we don't even have to talk about Mike Clevenger's terrible walk-up music, trying to win the award for biggest jerk of baseball. But people, sometimes I don't understand people. But here's the thing. Final note, I know we've had our ups, we've had our downs. This has been an all-over-the-place podcast. But for as annoying as the offense is, it is early. We'll have to see who can turn around again. I don't think some of these guys will maybe hit the heights of a year ago, but I think there's still chance for improvement. I think tomorrow should be a great day with their number 1 prospect. Don't give up. Don't say this team's toast. Don't say they're done. Hopefully we'll start seeing more of these prospects. Hopefully it's not going to be Brian Rocchio just coming up, getting a card and leaving. Hopefully we'll see him in some games. Hopefully we'll see it in Espino and a Cantillo at some point, maybe as relievers this year as they build up their strengths. But keep hope alive. There are many reasons to be hopeful. This was the youngest team in Major League Baseball or AAA a year ago. They have one of the best farm systems in baseball, and the top-end talent is just starting to hit now. In the past 2 weeks, we've had 3 of their top 7 prospects, so it is just starting to connect, and the future is still bright, even if it is incredibly frustrating right now. Thank you all for listening, being part of the Locked On Guardians team. We've gone long, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to shout out some everydayers.
Ooh, can I shout out one?
Yes.
Everydayer Scott Bibee. Everydayer Scott Bibee. He said he was not getting on a plane until he saw your tweet to Cleveland.
He didn't love my tweets the other day about other players potentially. He did not like my take.
He was not coming to Cleveland until he saw your tweet. That was official.
I know he wasn't the biggest fan of some of my takes, but it's fine. It was never about not liking Tanner's ability. It was just sometimes how they run things. I think my guard lane, I'm going to call it that. My terrible handwriting is having problems. Richard is another one, and Taylor Sommers. I've seen you popping up more and more in there, and I know there's many of you. I'm going to get to you. I keep adding to the list every time, but thank you all for being a part of the Locked On Guardians team. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It all helps. Click the thumbs up, leave a comment. Let us know what fun references you would like in the game today. And if you got our reference at the top of the show, I'll let you in on some behind baseball. That was take 2 because I can't read. But thank you all for listening, and go Guardians, go.